So the A through G requirements are the 15 sequential classes that a student needs to take to be eligible for the UC CSU system. So we currently have A through G default curriculum, meaning that we're trying to make all of our courses as much as possible A through G alignment. But A through G graduation requirement would be that the default requirement would be that every student graduates from Eastside meeting those sequential classes to be eligible for the UC CSU. Chris Funk, Superintendent for Eastside. So far I've had the opportunity to visit 6 of our high schools and their staffs, along with several different focus groups with students and some parent groups. And I would say more than in general, people are behind the concept. In terms of some pushback, there are some teachers that feel that reducing our graduation requirements from 220 to 180, because that's what the A through G are 15 sequential classes, and then the UC recommends 3 extra classes, an extra year of science, extra year of math, and a second year of world language. So that would be 18 classes. Some say that you're reducing the rigor or the expectations for students. I believe that if every student meets the A through G requirement, then that actually increases the rigor, and I'm simply reducing some of the hurdles that kids have to do to graduate from high school. But along with the A through G would also be developing seminar classes that students would have to take. So in essence, we'd be replacing year-long courses with 4 to 6 week seminar courses. And those courses are designed just to be more, to develop a more well-rounded student. They could include financial literacy class. It could be an SAT prep class, so instead of paying for it, you actually have it in your seminar class. So it could be examples like that. It could be an internship. That would be your seminar class. So it would be 180 credits that are A through G. It would be seminar classes, 4 to 6 of them, and then it would be community service hours would be the new graduation requirements, which is what's being proposed. So we will have a committee that will work on that recommendation. I think at the earliest they would come in would be for the class of 2019. So that would be starting the year 2015, the class of 2015. Now, the question that needs to be decided, and there's many questions that need to be decided still, is that do we just start with that class, or do we allow other students that are currently sophomores, juniors, or seniors that show if they can reach the 180 A through G, then we change their graduation requirements so that we can institute it quicker? Or do we just phase it in with the class of 2019 and then any class after that meets that? So those are some of the questions.
What is your opinion on this?
I think we can do a hybrid approach. Probably not seniors because they're too far down the line, and asking a senior to take maybe that extra year of math, extra year of science, and extra year of world language their senior year might be a bit much. Or if they're currently a senior that they're struggling in math and taking that 3rd year of math might be a bit much. But a junior, a sophomore, I think could still meet those requirements. But there's also another piece to this proposal. So it's not just the 180 credits that are A through G, but we would keep this current staffing, that's a 6-period day that equals 220 credits, still available. So kids could take more than 180 credits, just like today kids take more than 220 credits. We could offer more enrichment courses that kids would be more interested in taking as opposed to being required to take it because they have to take 6 classes for 4 years. And it creates just more flexibility in one's schedule. So now, not all kids, all 4 years, have to take 6 classes. So maybe an incoming freshman that's a little bit behind, maybe they only take 4 or 5 classes so that they can focus on those skill gaps that they need to improve on. Or maybe my senior year, I'm taking an internship and I don't have to take 6 classes. So there's that flexibility because now I don't have to take 220 credits that aren't necessarily A through G aligned. So I don't think we need more teachers because remember, if it goes through as the proposal is, and I'm sure my proposal will change, right? Because a lot of people have input on it. So if the graduation requirements are A through G 180 credits, but we still staff the sites at 220 credits, that's 40 credits that can be repurposed, meaning teachers can now do different things. So it's not a matter of adding more teachers, it's just taking the existing teaching staff and repurpose what they do. So if I'm an English teacher and I have 165 students and I want to do an essay a week, that's a lot to ask a teacher to grade and give meaningful feedback. But what if that English teacher now teaches 3 English classes and 2 seminar classes? The seminar class isn't going to be designed where it's going to be homework intensive. It's going to be a pass-fail. It's not going to be for credits. And so now I have a teacher in English that now I can really focus on only 3 classes, and maybe I can now give meaningful feedback in my essays once a week, or one every 2 weeks, however a teacher decides to do that. So it's taking teachers and repurposing some of those teachers and giving them opportunities to teach classes that they can't teach right now because we're so finite in what we offer.
Sorry, because I don't want to Mr. Porter was totally explicit in everything he said, so I'm trying not to repeat the same questions.
So the timeline, so we have what's called the Instructional Program Committee, and that committee is made up of teachers and administrators, sites administrators, and they typically are the ones that approve new textbook adoptions or make the recommendation for new textbooks. They're the ones that recommend new course descriptions. So that's the committee that I'm tasking with taking my proposal and now creating, because it's a white paper, right? So it's just a concept paper. Now I'm asking them to take the concept and actually deliver a recommendation. And so I imagine that group that has about 24, 26 people on the committee to break it into chunks. So there'll be one group that talks about the 180 graduation requirements. And what will be some of the alternative pathways for kids? Because not all kids, I don't think all kids are ready for college or want to go to college or should go to college. I just want to make sure that we put them on a pathway that if they choose to go to college, they've met the requirements that we've offered. But like I mentioned, maybe not all kids will do well taking 3 classes. So currently, you only have to pass algebra and geometry. Under the A through G, every student will have to pass algebra 2. At Santa Teresa, probably 2/3 of your students take algebra 2 and higher, but not at all of our schools. But even at Santa Teresa, there will be some kids that passing algebra 2 will be hard. So maybe their junior year, based on their performance, okay, I'm not going to make the A through G track. So what's an alternative pathway for me to earn my high school diploma? So now maybe there'll be an alternative math class, business math, computer science, instead of that 3rd year of math, which is algebra 2. Or maybe I just don't have the tongue or the ear for a foreign language. So maybe instead of 2 years, that 2nd year will be an elective class that we say, okay, if you take this elective, it will replace this foreign language class. That committee has to work out those details. Then the committee around seminar classes. What type of seminar classes? Will there be one seminar class that every student will have to take?
No.
Or will we just say, here's a choice of 10 and you have to take 4 or 6 of what's on the list? And if a teacher wants to submit a course for a seminar class, what is that process? And then I think there'll be another committee around community service. So how many hours? How do we track them? Who inputs it? So those are there's a lot of details to work out. But I think in general, the conceptual piece, people are behind. It's just all the other questions that is kind of driving some people to be a little nervous. Just part of my proposal talks about the flexibility, right? Because the flexibility is tied to that extra FTE. Why should every single freshman that comes into our system, why should they all take 6 classes? Some are ready to take geometry, algebra 2 as freshmen, right? They're ready to excel. Others need more support. Right now, every single student in Eastside takes 6 classes for 4 years. Maybe your spring semester of your senior year, you get to take 5 classes. You take a TA class that may not be as meaningful, right? But why do we do that? And that equals more than 220 credits. So actually, we're having students jump through hoops to take classes that, one, may not be meaningful to them, two, are not A through G aligned, which is not going to help them get into college, and three, it takes away kind of that motivation. I'm taking this class because I'm required to take it, not because I'm interested in taking it. A through G, there's still going to be classes that everyone's going to have to 4 years of English, right? Not everyone wants to take English. Yes, you're going to have to take 4 years of English, but I'm talking about all the other classes that you might be more interested in taking. A Chicano studies class that's not being offered right now because it doesn't fit within the framework of what we do. But if we have extra FTE around that, now there's some flexibility of what can be offered. Why couldn't a student take 3 classes in the morning, take an online class as one of their schedules, and come back and take a night class? Right? Why not have that flexibility? You could do that under this proposal. Because as you know, we have siblings
People in
that,
Evergreen
we have
got a lot
students
of them.
that need to go home and take care of their siblings because their parents are holding down 2 jobs. So why not have a flexibility? Why do we have to see every single teacher every day for 55 minutes? Why couldn't I see a teacher 2 days a week for an hour and a half, 2 hours? You're still going to be able to get through the curriculum and maybe even go into deeper detail than every single day for 55 minutes. So those are all the possibilities that we have in this proposal. We talk about developing a college-going culture, but our system doesn't mimic college at all. And so that's a challenge for a lot of students, that all of a sudden they go to college and they only see their teacher 2 times a week, and maybe all they have is 2 midterms and a paper and a final, and that's your grade. And so we don't prepare students for that reality and that responsibility. And so will all kids be that responsible in high school if we change our schedule? No. But we need to create the system so that they can learn to be responsible. I think many students would rise to the occasion and appreciate that flexibility.